going on, everybody? I'm a former Flock Safety field tech here on the scene of the very first license plate reader I installed as a field tech for Flock Safety. You might be asking yourself, why am I standing in front of this camera? I posted a video recently kind of just going over the process of how we install these things, and the video blew up. It got over 1 million views on TikTok. I wasn't expecting it. I was just expecting to educate my followers. It ended up reaching a whole lot of people. 1.3 million on TikTok, 300,000 on Instagram. I got over 10,000 new followers between platforms. It's insane. I never had a social media account with over 1,000 followers. Besides the point, I wanted to clarify a couple things. You want an 8mm, a 13mm, and a T25 or a T30 Torx bit. It kind of depends on who put the camera together. We're gonna theoretically take one of these cameras down. What you would want to do is start by taking down the camera itself, which is this unit up here. That's that 8mm or 5/16 in Freedom units. You want to get that camera taken down. You want to cut the cable as fast as possible. The solar panel itself is held on by 8 set screws. Okay, to remove the solar panel, you have to loosen 4 of those set screws. Now that's 13mm. When you cut the cable, they're going to get a notification that you've been tampering with the camera. What you want to do is get this camera off the pole as soon as possible and start making your way back to your vehicle. You want to get back to your car, and as you're walking towards the car, take that Torx bit on that same impactor drill, whatever you were using, put that T25 or T30 Torx bit on, and as you're leaving the scene, start unscrewing the camera housing. So by the time you get to your car, you can pull the battery backup out and it can no longer track your location. The moment you cut that cable, they're going to dispatch police to your location. So you want to flee the scene quickly, and as you're fleeing the scene, start taking that camera apart so you can get that battery backup out. Don't throw the battery backup out because they could be used for tons of things. I've heard of people using them for remote-controlled cars, remote-controlled planes, and different hobbies, even using them as a makeshift, power source for lights in their work vans. The solar panels you can get creative with. You can put them on your RV, you can put them on your work van, you can put them on your trailers, anything. You can use them to generate power to, charge your Milwaukee tools. You can get creative with the solar panels. A couple things to clarify about the pole. This one is not mounted legally. Garrett Langley, the CEO of the company, said it himself. They're kind of going based on brute force. They're just trying to install as many of these as possible, as fast as possible. And this is a good example. This is not safe. Not only is it not safe, it's not stable. I barely touched it, and look how much the thing is swaying. Okay, if a car hits this, it can decapitate a driver. The pole can be inserted through the vehicle. It's completely unsafe. What should be here should be a concrete slab, and this should be mounted to the slab using a breakaway plate so that if a car does hit it, the camera will just fall over and break away. It won't provide any resistance. Nothing can penetrate the vehicle and decapitate drivers and make a bloody scene. Now, why are they trying to brute force everything? They're brute forcing as many of these cameras, installing as many of these cameras as they humanly possibly can, because they're trying to IPO. What does that mean? They're trying to sell the company or become public. They want shareholders. Right now, if they get sued, Garrett Langley could be held responsible, but through the use of, LLCs and the way the business is structured, the business itself would have to pay for the lawsuit, and it would be detrimental to the company. They would probably foreclose or bankrupt. I mean, they would be done as a company if they were sued now. But if they get sued once they have shareholders after they IPO, any lawsuits, any big payments are paid out through shareholder, through shareholder profits. The company wouldn't necessarily be damaged by themselves. It would be detrimental if they were sued now. But the more cameras they have on paper, the more money they could sue for. So what they're doing is, like I said, they have private customers. There's a mosque, and the mosque is leasing this camera. Okay, the way it works is they pay for a year lease, and Flock maintains the camera. Anything that goes wrong with it, whatever, they maintain it. But you never own it. You just have a login. You have access. You can view what the camera records. Any plates that it picks up, anything that passes by and is recorded by the camera, you have access to. You have your own login. Now, this login, this access between private institutions can be shared. For instance, police departments lease a lot of Flock cameras. But between municipalities, they don't technically have a login. They only can log into the cameras that they lease, right? So let's say Skokie Police Department wants to access cameras in Morton Grove. They'd have to make a phone call and get, those videos sent over. But what they do is they share access. So Skokie can share access with Morton Grove, and they could just log into each other's cameras. And this is done on a worldwide, throughout the whole United States, every municipality. It's not just governments that are local to each other, or police departments that are local to each other. And a lot of these private clients, like this mosque, for instance, they'll lease this camera and get it pulled up, but they have no idea that they are sharing accessibility to this camera with their local police department. So they purchased this as a lease, as a private business, as a mosque, So they could have their own login information so they could protect their parking lot, see who's coming in and out, and if anything happens, they can obviously track the perpetrator, at least in this direction, because there's not one pointing in that direction. So they could log in to the camera, see who passed by, and pull up that information. But the local police department can also do the same thing through confusing language. When these private customers lease these cameras, they have no idea that it automatically opts into sharing accessibility with police departments. So anyone that has a private business or public business can get one of these cameras installed. All you need, let's say you own a mechanic shop, you have a physical location in a parking lot, you can get one of these pulled up. If you work at a police department, you guys have a budget for security, for surveillance, whatever the hell you want to call it, you can get these, put up in your city through a lease for the police department. Any private or public business can get a flock camera through a lease.